In this tutorial, you will learn the basics of using triggers, including how to create a trigger, how to hide an image with a trigger, how to assign a trigger to a button click, and finally, how to show a layer with a trigger. Ready? Let's begin now. To follow along, be sure to download the exercise files from our free downloads section. You must be registered to access the files. Registration is free and takes only a moment. After downloading and unzipping the exercise files, open the story file and storyline. We'll begin by inserting an image of the rocket into the scene. Position the rocket onto the launch pad. Right-click on the image and rename it rocket_A. It's important to name the items on your slide when working with triggers. This makes it much easier to identify them when you create your triggers later. Next, we will add a new layer by clicking on the new layer icon. Name the layer Launch. Now that we have our launch layer added, we will insert the second image of our rocket. Select the image named rocket_B. Position the rocket directly over the rocket in the base layer. Right-click on the image and name it rocket_B. If you toggle between the launch layer and the base layer, you can see that we now have the illusion of the rocket igniting. Next, on the launch layer, we will add the image of the smoke to the slide. Drag the smoke image, and position it below the rocket. Copy and paste the smoke image, so that you have two puffs of smoke behind the rocket. Rename the smoke images by clicking on them on the timeline. Now that we have completed setting up the rocket, we will now insert the button. Click back to the base layer. Select the image named Launch Button Normal. Next, click on the Edit States button so that you can add the hover and down states of the button. Click the new state icon, and add the hover state. Click on Change Picture, and select the image named Launch Button Hover. Repeat the previous steps to add the down state to the button. Click Change Picture, and select the image named Launch Button Down. Now that all the states are complete, we can click the Done Editing States button and switch back to the main timeline. Next, rename the button, so that it is easier to identify when we create our trigger. Our images and buttons are all in place, and we can now add the animations. Begin by switching to the launch layer and selecting the rocket. With the rocket selected, click the Animations tab. Apply a fade-out animation, and select Top from the Exit to drop-down menu. Next, we will perform similar steps to add animations to the smoke images. Apply a fly-out to the bottom left animation, to the left smoke image. Apply a fade-out animation to the bottom right, to the right smoke image. At this point, we have set all of the animations. Next, we will add the rocket sound effect to the layer. Click the Insert tab. Click the sound icon, then Sound from File. Select the rocket sound effect. By default, the items on the slide will display for the same length of time that the audio plays. In order to ensure that the animations start when the layer is shown, shorten the timelines for each of the images on the slide to about 1 second in length. We are now ready to switch back to the base layer and begin building our trigger. Building a trigger is as simple as selecting a series of actions from drop-down lists in order to achieve the desired effect. In this exercise, we wish to hide Rocket A and show the launch layer after a button is clicked. Click on the new trigger icon. On the action drop-down list, select Change State of. Next, select Rocket_A from the On Objects drop-down menu. On the To State drop-down menu, select Hidden. To complete the trigger, select User Clicks from the When drop-down menu and Launch _ button from the Objects drop-down. The trigger which will hide the rocket is now complete. Click the OK button. Follow similar steps to create the trigger to show the launch layer. On the Action drop-down list, select Show Layer. As we did previously, complete the trigger by selecting When user clicks the Launch button object. The triggers are now complete. Click the Preview button to test the scene. You should now be familiar with how to create a trigger, how to hide an image with a trigger, how to assign a trigger to a button click, and finally, how to show a layer with a trigger. Be sure to watch our other tutorials so that you can learn how to get the most out of your new templates.